All right, guys, we are back. This is your boy Juice, host of the Squeeze podcast, and we are here today with a very, very interesting and amazing guest. This man here, Kevin, is the business proprietor and owner of a CDL training company. Company, LLC?
Yeah.
LLC, guys. So, and I actually got some questions about that for you too, man. So we're going to jump right into it. Kev, you want to tell everybody about yourself, man?
Well, my name's Kevin. I'm the owner of Advanced CDL Driving Academy. We're based out of Baltimore, Maryland, but we service the DMV area, Pennsylvania. We just out here.
We all over the place. So you cover the whole DMV. And with that, man, so you saying you've been trucking. Well, do you still truck, by the way?
So no, I'm not actually on the road. I'm a full-time trainer.
Okay, dang, man. So what do you know about, what was the life like before getting into, being the teacher, before being the mentor? What was life like on the road?
Well, on the road, it has its ups and downs, but I look at the road as the time that you focus the most. Like that's that space to build your plan. Some people like being on there. Some people can do that 12 hours, 14 hours, and just live out on the road. Some people have other dreams, other goals, and trucking is the key or the stepping stone to get to that next level.
Right. So, you as an instructor, what's the perks? Like, how much money are you usually typically making just starting off? I mean, I'm not saying don't give us nothing crazy. Like, what's the rough estimate?
So, is a range.
Okay, give us the range then.
So you as a typical trainer, you can make anywhere from 60 to 100,000, depending on your skill level.
And now, as a driver, what would you say, like an early driver?
An early driver. See, I had a different type of experience. Like I was kind of plugged in because I trained first and then I went out. But as an early driver, most early drivers is somewhere around like 60 to 80, and then as they get the experience, it could jump up really fast. So after like 9 months, they can go do different type of things, and then they could be in them 6-figure ranges.
So let us know, like for people like myself, who I think I only know about like heavy load hauling, and what other types of hauling is it?
Oh, you got flatbed, you got dry van, tankers, you got school bus, you can haul people, you can haul freight, but just think about it, everything that we do touch, this equipment, everything we wearing, it comes on a truck. Everything we eat. So it's everything. Whatever you want to haul, you can haul.
I was about to say, I was under the impression, most of the stuff came from a train, and then, magic Amazon got you together, what I mean? So let me ask you, so now that you are the owner and now a mentor, so what was the journey like transitioning from driving back into, I guess, instructing, right? Instructing?
Yeah, so it was a crazy story. I went to get my CDL. And I looked at the process, and I was like, at that time I was doing landscaping or something like that, and I wanted to stay in the kind of the industry. Okay. So I talked to them.
Hold on. I don't mind if you don't mind me stopping. So how did you wind up in landscaping and then jumping back and forth?
Well, I was just doing landscaping to get the money to pay for CDL school.
Okay, I got you.
So once I paid for it, the landscaping was paying good. I was working 60, 80 hours a week, so I was eating off of that, and it was just like kind of a bridge into see what I was going to do with trucking. But once I seen that, like I started part-time, I started doing it on the weekends. Once I was like, I could do this, I like this, and it wasn't as much wear and tear on my body.
I got you. Question for you too. So you said it was some wear and tear. So what were like more of the things that, like, I guess were fatigue, like that gave you fatigue, or was it stressor that wanted to make you pivot from one spot to the next?
Well, the life of trucking, you pretty much your own boss. If you set it up right, you on the road, you make your own schedule, you run your own lane. Where landscaping, you go where the grass at.
Exactly.
So
you gotta go where work is.
Yeah, and it was grass everywhere. It was grass. They was doing football fields.
Not football field. So can you pinpoint the moment or like the spark for you that made you want to open up your own training and give back to the people?
Oh man, I have an incredible story. So it started when I decided that I wanted to pour back into the system. Everybody has a past previous life, and I was currently in a facility that provided like a CDL book for training and stuff like that. Gotcha. And during that time, I was able to, start studying. And when I got out, I was like, what, they can use something like this. So I end up going back to them and say, hey, I want to bring a CDL program here. I'm currently a trainer. And I want to come in, let the guys know what's going on so that they can have something to set them up as they go home. So after emailing the warden and stuff, I finally got a program back in 2020.
Okay,
And
great. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah, appreciate it. And the program, it had much support. It had support from pastors, it had support from city council people, county council people, just to really see it come full circle. So it started off with just me going in there teaching them about the permit. And then I explained to them, like, hey, I work at a school, and maybe, we can find some type of resources to pay for your training full circle. So one thing led to another, and then I was put in a position to actually get them from being behind bars, training them while they're in there for the permit, then actually while they're in the facility, being able to come to the lot and, get training and get their CDL.
Yo, that's a beautiful story, man. So if you guys, anybody watching, I just want you to know this man is out here giving back for real. So make sure that y'all plug in with Advanced Driving Academy, because I didn't get that beforehand, but I definitely want to make sure that y'all get that right, because this man is doing some amazing stuff. So let me ask you this though. So with that, how many do you know right now? How many people from the penitentiary system back into the world that you've helped?
Well, so over the course of like 2 years, the program finally got funded. So this last year we just kind of got into the funding to actually get them fully trained. But throughout, going in there doing my part, I want to say like about 30, 35 people. Actually then got out and got their license. We were around about 6 people.
That's amazing, man. Listen, and it's gonna keep coming. It's gonna keep pumping.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep going. And I'm gonna definitely do this right here. When you leave, we're gonna drop down. We're gonna give you the plug any of your Cash App. You got PayPal, whatever way you want them to support you. Everybody who's watching, make sure you go out, reach out, support, because the program needs a lot more hands than just yourself, and it's going to take a village to make sure that everybody's looked out for. And I appreciate you for everything that you are doing, because that's amazing. Because I just have some myself, and not too many. I had a family member, I would say, that I know personally that went through the penitentiary system and had to go through a lot of stuff, and it's hard to get back on to your feet. I've interviewed a couple of people who've gone back from their past and overcame it, but I know that it's a real struggle, and I appreciate you again for that. For you, when you were establishing the business, though, were there any doubts that you had to overcome?
Yeah, it's always a doubt, and you're always nervous, because with trucking is a lot of money. Everything, tires is $400, brakes is $3,000. So it's a lot of money when jumping in that industry. But because my process was driven by God, it was aligned by God, and my purpose wasn't to make as much money. My purpose was how many people I could help.
And go ahead.
Yeah. And that situation is just, I think everything was set up for me. I didn't have to work too hard as far as, worrying about the people to come, because I already had a reputation as a good trainer. So I was known in the area, and I had people, constantly calling my phone like, hey, train my brother. So once I told them I finally got my own school, they was like, about time.
So ask this, but because it's going to go back into this next question I got for you. So how long have you been teaching overall, even without your own academy?
5 years.
Okay. Well, that's so, and you dedicated full time to it?
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, talking about it, like, what was that like, the dedication, like putting it into that? Like, did you ever feel like you had to eliminate like a lot of stuff or anything in your life?
You definitely, when starting a business, it's a couple different stages. It's starting a business when yourself is just involved, and it's like you gotta have that tunnel vision. You gotta defeat yourself, essentially, because you're gonna be your worst enemy. Your friends, your family, if they really your friends and family, they're gonna support you, but it's gonna be that little thought that creeps up into your head. With my situation, like, I had a really good support system. CLM, Changing Lives Ministry, they definitely had my back. I had people praying over my business, praying over, my pastor came out, Pastor Antoine Burton came out and blessed my land. And like I said, everything just aligned, man.
That's good. And then I wanted to speak on that, brother, because it's a blessing to talk to somebody who's really driven by purpose. But being on a path like that, like, what was it to, I guess, to visualize it, and then to go through the process and then seeing God in your path?
Well, he just opened the doors. The process was this. Sometimes people want to force things. They want to force God's plan, and sometimes you just got to sit back and watch what He's doing for you, and then and be involved in the moment. A lot of people aren't involved in the moments. They're so busy focused on what's to come, or I need this to get to that. But sometimes you got to settle yourself and just listen to what God is saying to you.
Definitely that. And I was just talking to a sister the other day, you know, God definitely speaks to you in stillness, so you do have to be still, focus yourself. And the reason I was asking that question about, you know, eliminating yourself is because I learned something that greatness, you do have to eliminate all the outside noise and kind of the stuff that you might have felt like was fun at the time, like younger days, you know, drinking and any other kind of thing that you know, but you can't do it in, what is the word I'm missing?
Access.
And access, there you go.
And back in the day, man, we used to definitely, we was out every day besides like Monday or Tuesday.
You
One
know,
of those voltage power plants.
you gotta
somebody's
catch
iguana.
you know, you gotta catch something.
Yeah, now 9 o'clock is like, man, what am I doing out at this hour?
Yeah, man, but because it takes a lot too to like focus yourself and say, okay, I gotta let this go, so that way I can grow for a better purpose. You know
It's
what
a
I mean?
discipline and a consistency.
Okay, so can you describe a moment when you transitioned from being just a driver to the CDL business that majorly impacted your whole overview of CDL driving?
The moment, essentially, like when I decided like fully transition into the moment that I realized that I could help more people in the training aspect than driving. When I drive, I'm just a good driver. I'm getting a load to and from. But once I put my hands on one person and we take that opportunity to make a connection, that's a connection I made it with a person forever. I feel like if people are stand-up people, there's no reason to not keep in touch with a person. So through that connection, that breeds other connections, and that leads to other connections. So I felt like this was the place that God wanted me at to make all of those connections, and then just to share my experience, share what things happened in my life, how He moved in my life, how He positioned me at the right time, at the right place. Is I don't know if we got enough time to go through it.
The time, man, because I think it's beautiful to see, because listen, I don't have that many God-fearing people that come on the show, to be honest with you. So it's really refreshing to see somebody who's really moving through God's plan and is focused, because a lot of people will say they got a mission and stuff like that, and I'm not really seeing results, and I'm not trying to say that they aren't making the right steps possible, but it's just that I hear a lot of stuff and I'd rather see the results. You know what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, that's all we got, is the results that we make in this world.
Exactly. It just, like, I guess a little rundown. It started with establishing that faith and that foundation. So like I said, I mentioned CLM. I can't not mention them enough. It's a bunch of great people there that just grounded me, right? And you always had the hustler side of me. You know, you always able to go out and sell bottles or whatever. But what is driving you? What is your purpose in life? What are you aiming? Are you going for all of the fame, the glory? Are you doing it to hurt people's feelings? Are you doing it to help people? So they just made me realize my purpose is to serve the Lord, and just let people know that even though you are in a rough situation or you may have went through something, there's an opportunity to grow from it. So my foundation was created there, and through tithes and fasting and reading the word and just getting a closer connection. It's not no holier than thou. It's not no I'm perfect every day of the week. I make plenty of mistakes on a daily, on a regular, but it's just about having a foundation that continuously recharges you to keep moving towards that purpose. So my business I don't really operate my business. God runs my business. I just operate in the plan that He tells me to. So a prime example, I was looking for my first location, and I looked on Craigslist, and it just popped up. Like, I seen a picture of it, but it wasn't what I actually wanted it to be when I looked on the.
I was about to say, I didn't know people still use Craigslist. You said you brought up the.
I was driving around looking for lease signs, everything, because I need paved lot. You need a certain amount of space. Okay. So when I looked at it and I drove there, it was like it was just horrible. It wasn't what I thought it was. So I was like, why would they even post this? I went back and looked at the picture. I was like, I noticed something different in it. So, and it's crazy, during that time, I think my church was going through a fast or something like that. I revisited the photo maybe like a month later. I was like, that was something different. So I drove up there, I looked for something different, and it was perfect. Okay. It was perfect. And it was the price that I could afford, everything lined up. Then going on to get my truck, so I purchased my first truck, got it at a super steal. Like, the market for trucking back in that time was like through the roof. Like, if it was a $20,000 truck normally in 2018, at that time, it was a $60,000 truck. So my trucks was through the roof. I lucked up and got my truck $15,000, below market value. And during that same time, I needed 2 vehicles. So I was in the process of dealing with an auction. And the vehicle that I wanted was a 2016 Peterbilt. 579. I'll never forget it. And in that lot, the same amount of vehicles that was like that had more miles and older, they all went for like 23, 25, 26,000. So I put 18,000 in there. I was like, this is going to be my bid, and if it happens, it happens. As I picked up my first truck, this is in Tennessee, as I picked up my first truck, I just happened to be riding past the auction where my next one was.
Okay.
And God froze the auction at 17.5. He froze it. Like, I went in there and I actually tried to increase my bid. I was like, no, what, I really want this truck. It wouldn't let me increase it, and then next thing I know, it turned green. So at that moment, I think a lot of weight was off my shoulders because it was something that he designed for me to have. And you can't keep looking at things and not acknowledge what's working in your life. Right. I don't do no weird stuff. I'm not praying to nobody else but God. So if I'm praying to God, my foundation is God, and I'm receiving blessings, I'm able to help people, I'm able to have these type of conversations, then that's what's working in my life.
Yo, it's a blessed man. My question is about to start. You about to take me off topic, but how do you stay so humble, man? Because listen, it's a lot of brothers that will blow their heads up just from all of this stuff that you're trying to talk about. Buying land, like buying property, because I don't know if you own. Do you own land?
No, I'm leasing now, but last week I just opened up my third location.
Okay. Hey, congratulations. My man is expanding everything. I was going to get to that at the end, but my man is already talking about it. Congratulations, though.
Yeah,
That's really big, man. So can you okay, because you said a couple of little things that in there I want to kind of touch back on, because I don't know. So what are the perks of the certain trucks you were talking about? Because you said say the type of truck.
So a Peterbilt 579 is like the Mercedes-Benz truck, and it's like you got your Peterbilt, you got your Kenilworths, and it had a Cummins, it had like the perfect engine. It was a top of the line truck. Okay. So at that time I got it way below market value. I was blessed.
Yeah, that's something.
Volvo is like almost like Volvo in the car class. It's nice when everything works, but if you break something,
it's a wrap.
It's expensive. It's definitely really expensive. So I was used to that. That's like I started on Volvos when I was training. So I was like, let me get something I'm familiar with. I already then fixed a couple of trucks that wasn't mine. Mm-hmm. So I was like, let me jump into something I'm already familiar with. I just knew about Peterbilt. As a matter of fact, when I was on the road, I was driving a 579 Peterbilt. So I was like, no, what this is comfortable. It just float. You don't even feel like you're in the truck. Okay. So now I done switched over. I'm a Freightliner man now.
There we go. And then you were talking about the lot as well. And I'm not familiar with the truck lot. So you were buying a space to house the trucks, or is this for the training itself?
So it's for the housing, training. Okay. It was a private fence lot. I just need the space for the truck to do its thing, and for the person to just listen.
There you go.
And we gonna get busy. It doesn't matter where we go.
Okay. And then so now that you got 3 locations, you got my mind flown with questions, man. Are you hiring trainers? You know what I'm saying? Are you hiring anybody right now? Because for people that might be looking.
Yes and no. So my trainers come from kind of like within, like I would have trained them and then they would have went off, and so they understand, how the program works, and that's that connection that I talked about in the beginning. Everybody can't work for you. Everybody isn't the right fit for every trucking company. Even with my students, I matched them up with the right trucking company designed on how that student was. Did they come to class on time? Did they pick up the skill well? Because once you recommend a student to another transportation company, especially if they're owner-operator, that's a big risk, and my name means a lot in the trucking industry. So if I send a driver to somebody and they crash up their truck, they could potentially ruin that person's family, ruin their life, their livelihood. So it's a real kind of precise way of putting people hey, you know what, you a little bit iffy. We're gonna send you to a big name company so that they can have time for somebody to train you and develop you a little bit better. This other person, you always came on time. You was hungry. You came when you wasn't scheduled. You drove the truck. You listened. Yeah, you would make a good fit at somebody's trucking company. You would be able to help grow their trucking company. They can rely on you to expand, and that's important.
Okay, that definitely is, because work ethic is something I feel like today is we don't think about it, because everything is you get a little weekly review. If you're doing a retail job, you get I said weekly, but you get a quarterly review, and you're not really thinking about it because most of the stuff is plug and play. They give you what you're supposed to do. There's no real thought about it. You just go and do it. You know what I mean? And then micromanaging happens here and there. But I think with the trucking industry, at least, you got to be a lot more focused, like you said earlier. But on top of that, it's some other intricate ins and outs that just let you to learn how to do your job better. That, you know, because who's driving 18 hours a day and just saying that that's an easy job? It's no way in the world.
People that think you're just going to get in the truck and just drive, it's so many distractions. It's cars, it's trucks, it's birds, it's weather. It's fatigue, it's phone calls, it's significant others, it's bills, it's everything. You know, it's the DOT police. Man, driving through weigh stations, I used to have heart palpitations. I was like, oh man, come on, don't pull me over. Like, it's the worst experience ever. Like, it is the worst experience ever, driving through a weight station with a tractor trailer.
Because I mean, so what's the experience like? Because I don't know, man. So you know, you see it on the highway. My bad, brother. You see them because, like, listen, this is my number one experience with it. When I would go to Florida, we would drive down, you know, what was it, 95?
Yeah,
95, and then you go south of the border. You see about like at least 7 to 17 trucking stations just before you get to that little one spot. So I see them all over the place, but I've never been to one, so I don't know what it's like.
So the weigh station is essentially like where they check to make sure the truck is safe and that you're not overweight. A lot of truckers feel like that's where they like extort truck drivers, essentially, when they find things that's wrong with the truck. I agree that it's needed, but I agree that it should be maybe governed a little bit differently. But essentially, when you go through there, they can either put you out of business or keep you running. If something as simple as a flat tire can put you out of service, and if you got an appointed load time and you miss it, then say if it's Friday and they don't do drops on the weekend, and if you miss it, you have to sit somewhere that whole weekend with that load, and you're losing money, thousands of dollars. So a lot of drivers worry about being put out of service when going through weigh stations.
So how often do you have to go through a weigh station?
Well, it's some old school truckers that don't even touch them. You know, they on every back road known to man. That's because they usually probably riding dirty and doing that thing, which is, I mean, to each their own. But if you just on a normal route, you touching it every day for the most part. If you're going up 83, you touching it. If you're going down 95 or up 95, you touching it. So, and they got them everywhere.
Okay. And you talk about the weigh stations, and I heard this term on the internet, so don't hit me in the head for it, but what are lot lizards?
Oh man, that's the is what it sounds like. That's I guess a person selling their time, their special time for truckers at truck stops and things like that. But to be honest, well, I never really parked inside of truck stops a lot because that was one of my things. Like I didn't, one is loud, and two, I just didn't feel comfortable backing up next to those trucks at nighttime. I like in that tight spot, I just like, no, I could, but if I could just pull over to the side, that's where I'm going at. But the times that I did go through it, I think it's like a dying thing kind of, unless in like those Midwest states or something like that. But up and down 95, you don't see stuff like that.
Okay. And then you were saying some of the dangers earlier, but because we want to get back on track a little bit. So what are some of those dangers as a trucker? Because I was hearing, this is all stuff on my own past research, but like I think it's like a low-bearing bridge. But what are some other like big factors?
Yeah, that's actually was one of my number one fears too. Is those though you gotta watch out for the height of your excuse me. You gotta watch out for the height of your trailer and your tractor clearance. So most trailers are like 13.6. And if you see a bridge that says 13.1, you can't go under it. Whereas some people really don't pay attention to that. They just driving around and they're not focused on what they're doing. And that's when the whole top of their trailer's gone. That's usually like $7,000, $8,000, maybe $15,000 just to get the top of the trailer repaired, if it can get repaired.
And that's not covering damages to the product.
Yeah, that's not covering damage to the product at all. That's not covering the tow bill. Probably the tow bill might be the worst thing involved in that because they know it's like I guess an insurance thing. Tow bills, I've heard of some tow bills being $82,000.
To tow the trip?
Yeah, my man, shout out to YTS. His trailer flipped over. One of his drivers flipped over, had frozen chickens on it. And they hit him in the head to recover the vehicle. It was like $82,000.
That's crazy. So that came out of his own pocket.
Well, out of his insurance, and then, but that's like the thing with like trucking. You can have policies that's like $40,000 for one truck. That's, that breaks down to roughly like 35 a month, something crazy like that. So it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money moving, and it's a lot of money getting taken back. So they be robbing Peter to pay Paul on y'all. So let me ask you this. Now this is a little bit more interpersonal. So was there any moment while you were either creating the business and or just working it and expanding it that you had to take a deep dive into yourself and reevaluate who you were as a person to better yourself so that way you can make this work?
I do it daily.
Oh, you do it daily?
Yeah, I do it daily. It's one of those things, like you said, you got to stay humble or because somebody asked me that. Like I said, I got a long story, man.
Hey, take your time. You could tell us parts. You want to tell us the whole thing?
I used to, when I was training for this place called CFI. Okay. And they was based out in Brooklyn, Maryland, and for reasons I won't go into, it's crazy how God worked. It was a bad experience there. They did some rough things to the trainers and kind of essentially played with people's monies, didn't take care of the vehicles, put students in terrible type of working environments to learn. So that's when I decided to leave, and I left, and throughout that process of me leaving, it continued to spiral out of control. But like I said, I made those connections with the teamers. I hired all of the staff that was there, and then I left. And
that's interesting. How you hired everybody and then left yourself?
Well, so when we was there, we was all together, and then like I said, the guy that owned it, he just wanted to go left essentially. He wasn't taking care of the stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with the Brooklyn area, but there's a lot of crime down there and stuff like that. And his trucks wouldn't lock, so it would be like homeless people that would break into them. You find needles or different things like that. And he just wasn't taking care of it. And we was getting tickets on our license. He didn't have insurance on it. Like, he just wasn't doing things right. And he had all of the opportunities to. Because I was in the office. I was seeing the students that was coming in. I knew what was going on. But he just chose not to do things right. And I was like, as it got to the point where I went to the NVA, it was like, Kevin's trucks. Like, hold on. This isn't Kevin's trucks. This is his trucks. I actually brought him up there. I was like, this is who you need to talk to, not me. Yeah. So once I seen that it wasn't changing and my name kept getting associated with it, that's when I had to step away because, I feel like if you do business and you deal with people's money and time and stuff like that, you got to operate at excellence. Mm-hmm. That's one of the 3 things that we focus on Advance is we respect students' resources, which is your time and your money. We want to create a safe driver, and we want to get you your CDL, point blank period.
There we go.
So when I left, I heard it was spiraling out of control essentially. The team members that I hired there, they was actually about to leave too. They was like, leave. I was like, now that I'm gone, this creates room for you because they might change now. They might do something different because I'm gone. They might have a, whatever. But
somebody rise to the occasion.
Yeah, they didn't. And they end up calling me saying like, hey, yeah, they about to close. They didn't even ask me for a job or anything. They was just saying like, hey, they about to close and this, that, and the third. So I was like, you know what? I think I might like it over there. So that's how I end up getting my second location. I end up going over there and acquiring that place. And that was actually God, because if I didn't, I feel like if that relationship wasn't planted with those people and if it wasn't stand up, that they would have never called me. There's other people in the industry that they could have called or relied on for a job or anything, but they reached out to me and said, hey, this is what's going on. I was like, all right, cool. I might can't give you a full schedule right now, but let me see what I can do. Yeah. And then that's when God kicked in and made us busier than ever. Yeah. And now everybody's full-time, everybody's eating, everybody's, doing what they need to do, and is creating more opportunities for other avenues. And the people, that's the day ones, they get to see how, like, they essentially, because we always take time to acknowledge, like, hey, this is what God is working at in my life. So I wanted to stop you and see that. I'm not trying to force nothing on you, but you got to see it because this is how it's working. My guy, Dev, was like, have you sat back and processed what happened? You've been in business for 10 months. You got 3 locations, 8 trucks. Like, yeah. I was like, nah, man, this is God working. So that's not even my lane to really like take pride in that. Like, I'm just staying focused.
I get you. Because listen, you about to make me skip around on the questions, but I mean, okay, so hold on, let me gear back, because man, you saying stuff and it's touching on everything. You definitely making this different than I've ever done this thing. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that, because you got to be refreshing. You know what I mean? Because I'll just tap on it now because there's no point in waiting. But you gotta sit down though, bro, and know how to celebrate these wins though, because at the same time, God is giving it to you, but you got to, sit down and give yourself a moment. So that's the question is, how do you celebrate all your wins right now? What have you been doing for yourself? Because, listen, 10 months and getting 3 locations is absolutely amazing. Just starting a business by itself was amazing, man. But you helping people in prison get out of prison and then get a job, steady income. You're doing a lot of things. So how are you celebrating yourself?
Oh, man. I went to the gym and hoop this morning. No, I'm able to do things with my kids that impact their life forever. So versus buying, because I'm a sneakerhead, man. So versus cool, kicking in and buying them a bunch of shoes.
We're from the DMV. It's in the blood. It's in the blood.
My son, his birthday is December 31st, so we decided to go to Atlanta.
Happy belated.
Appreciate it. And I was like, no, what do you want to do? And he was like, I just want to go. I would just want to go on a plane or something. But so I surprised him, and we had it like all late. I was like, oh, what kind of car you want to get? Or if we got a car, he's like BMW. So I act like I was going to take him to school in the morning, and we end up going to the airport. I was like, we're going to have breakfast first. I ended up putting him on the plane. We rode first class. He was like, we're going to ball out in Atlanta this weekend. So we flew to Atlanta first class and got the BMW. We got the Hawks game. We was floor seats. I turned up for my little one, and it was a great experience. Like, he got to really, enjoy the fruits of, my hard work, and I think he'll remember that forever. We went to the aquarium, seen 2 Chainz. Like, it was
at the aquarium?
Well, no, 2 Chainz. It was a lot. 2 Chainz was at the Hawks game.
Okay.
But the aquarium was dope. The aquarium was real dope. It was that quality time, and he took off. Like, he got the dancing for the Hawks cheerleaders or the Booster Club or whatever. Yeah, he went ham.
I know that's amazing. That's an amazing memory because listen, I know what was my first travel? I was going to West Palm Beach with my mom, family. I'm over here pointing, but my mother, for people who don't know, is in the atmosphere, right? Now, her family is out West Palm Beach, so they would send me by myself, actually. I was a solo flyer. Okay. It was a different life, the 90s. I don't know about now. You can't be doing it. Yeah. But my mom would send me out there. It was an amazing time, though. My uncle, he was a sheriff and had what I call the crack dogs, you know what I'm saying? But he had the dogs that would go to the airport, sniff for people that had contraband and all that other stuff. So we would help him train them and all that other kind of stuff, have the full little netted suits and be out there. Don't be, you know what I'm saying? It was a good little time, but, I never forgot it, you know what I'm saying? So I know your son is definitely going to love that kind of stuff. But, man, I'm glad that you are, taking time to be with the family, get right with yourself. You are doing a lot of humbling things, and I'm hoping that anybody watching this takes a lesson out of this man's book, because you ain't got to be just like him, but at least try to be somewhat like this man. Because I'm just, listen, you sound like a pillar of the community to me. And listen, this is our first time meeting. We have never met before. This is not no disingenuous plug, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man.
Yeah, and like me, I'm a big person with factual stuff. So CLM, we 3808 West Forest Park. That's the foundation. I'm all over. Go to my website or my Google, you see my testimonies on there from different students. The people that do come from struggling situations. Their success is my reward.
It's laid back. It's chill. You working with some good brothers that understand life. You working with some good brothers that understand people's situation, and they teach you in every way they can teach you and help you. You can call the phone and be like, "Yo, I need some help with this." They gonna call you. They gonna answer. You feel me? Even after work, they gonna answer. So yeah, it's a good school. They gonna help you get what you need to get. Appreciate you, Cad.
I reward, so I don't really post too much of that because that's a personal, kind of reflection thing. But that's where my joy comes from. Like being able to, give a job to somebody that just came home. Like literally just came home, maybe not even a month. Now they're working. Now they're in a position to make 6 figures.
Exactly. So let me ask you this, though, too. So talking about, say, CLM?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I don't know if they particularly might be this, but let me ask you about a time when a mentor, imparted with you some words of wisdom that really affected you in your growth.
It's, of course, my pastor, he's not like your traditional pastor. He's definitely aligned with the word, and he's a God-fearing and Bible-preaching, pastor, but he doesn't forget where he comes from. So if he makes it a safe place, I pull up like this, or work clothes. It's not about politics. It's about what the word says. And when you operate your ministry on what the word says, you are open. You have to be open to accept all types of people. So he makes a safe space to accept all types of people. And to allow them to be able to grow into what the Lord has designed for them. It's a safe space. It's a place where people are pouring into you. People, like I say, are pray over you. They there. They really are. They was out in the streets praying for people Saturday with today. So it's definitely that. And pastor, like I'm on the men's ministry. I'm one of the leaders on the men's ministry. So it's me, Brother Warren, and Brother Rodney. And the pastor started a thing called Man Cave Mondays, where just brothers just get together and they talk about things that brothers deal with, as far as raising kids as a black man, jobs, the stress of providing, the stress of being a Christian, and trying to remain on the right path and stuff like that. So throughout that I guess that network, it created a safe space to learn from. They always say surround yourself with the people you want to be like. So I think it wasn't so many different types of mentors. I think it was just that God put me in a safe space to be able to absorb good people that was around me.
No, that's a blessing in itself too. But I was going to ask, can you touch on some of those topics though, because those are interesting. Because all three of those actually talk about something. Because so I'm gonna lay it down for you. So the Squeeze podcast, right? 3 main topics that we do here are making sure you're getting to the best version of yourself that you want to be. We talk to you about, gaining better wealth in whatever way we can find. I had some episodes about vending machines. Every avenue that you can to make money that will be passive for people who don't want to work all the days of their life, because it is a mental shift. It's not really about, how you actually operate. If you change how your mind works, you'll operate different.
Exactly.
And then the third thing is how we and I really make it very clear, the black community can regrow the family that we've lost in today's society with, all this mainstream media shooting it down and making it a very, very individualistic mindset, and it really takes away from a family standpoint. How can you build and raise a family, and how can you be one and be cohesive as a family? Because it's like, I can do this by myself or live on my own, but it's not about that. But could you speak on how you guys address it?
What, far as like?
The topics you were talking about is in your ministry, that's really what plugged me in. You were saying like being a father as a black man.
Well, we address it with each other. So is we just create that safe space and just be there. A lot of the times with men is the issue of showing up. So, we have a pride thing. We have the thing where we got to take care of ourselves. But when we actually, rely on others to be there and show up in a situation, I think that's where a lot of that you get that support from. But it's like, there's no one right answer for that. It's been different things. Sometimes a person might come through at the right time and just give you the inspirational word, or sometimes you just might feel better about stuff. You might go back to the gym, you just might recharge yourself, or remember something that happened that was like, know what, you on the right path. Yeah,
because just like even with this show, like I try to tell people, it's not about who you getting the answers from, because sometimes it's like a prescription. You know what I'm saying? It's like you getting prescribed from different people. It's medicine, but you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you got to get what works for you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to go and listen to me, because if what we got here ain't what you need, go where you know what I'm saying, where you're highly favored and, where you're going to be praised. You feel what I'm saying? What are some lessons and insights that you brought back from your journey running your CDL company, and how can you share that with others in the industry?
So the biggest thing about your CDL industry, or like the CDL school, and any business at that, like I was saying before, it's 2 different ways to operate it. You can operate a business to run it for yourself, or you can operate it to grow for your team. So when you operate it to grow for your team, it's important to, pour back into your team. It's important to develop them. It's important to let them know that you are wrong sometimes. It's important to let them know that your vision, and like put it on paper, like lay it out from like, hey, this is my vision, this is my expectation, this is how I want the company to grow, and this is where you grow at in the company. I'm real big on my day ones. If you remain consistent, I'm going to make sure you eat. It is simple as that. If you remain consistent, if you remain on the path of what you said that you was going to do when we made that agreement, as you working for me and me paying you, then you want to eat because this is my baby. And it's just now giving birth kind of 10 months in, right?
Yeah, man. But listen, you're doing amazing things with that. And I don't think people might see it as a little bit of time, but listen, I know a lot of y'all waste a lot of time on internet scrolling, and you feel like 30 seconds feels like a lot of time. I just want you to know, it's 24 hours a day. We all got it. This man has done amazing strides in 10 months' time, though.
Appreciate it.
That's really amazing. Because listen, I'm not trying to compare apples to oranges or nothing like that, but I know that even with growing this page, man, it's a hurdle, because I try to put out positive content, and I know that's not exactly what is, the most raw and, most hype all the time thing, but I prefer to do this, and if it's a slow grind, I'm okay with that, you know what I mean? But you made some great strides, and you've been doing a lot of positive, so I'm just happy for it. How has your perspective on life changed, though, as starting your company, and what has become your new normal now?
My perspective on life is words have power, and what you say about yourself, what you say for your business, what you speak over your life has power. So, I spoke a number over my business. I shared that number with my team, and that's kind of where we at with. And I'm sorry, remind me of the next question.
How did that change how did that become like your new normal? What was your, like you said, words?
What's my new normal?
Yeah.
Man, I'm grinding all day long because I'm just, now it's certain stages to it. One, you in there, you doing every single thing, and as it grows, you got to add people into it, because if you try to wear all of the hats, you're not going to be able to reach anybody. You're not going to be able to do anything. So as now I'm in the process of putting the right person in the right place and making sure that they align with the plan. So it's busy.
Okay, that's good. I was about to say this too, and that's something I think that a lot of people could learn from what you were just saying, though, and that's delegation of responsibilities and things like that. So what was it like giving up the power a little bit and then delegating it to other people, and then allowing yourself to be like, they're good enough to get it at least done, and then we can work on it from there?
Yeah, it's one of the scariest things ever, because my company was built off of my reputation. So essentially, for the first 5 months, I didn't even advertise. I built off of people that knew me. They knew my training. They knew the level of expertise that came with what was going in, and they knew that I cared about them. So that was making sure that I had trainers that cared about the students was my biggest concern. And like I said, he just brought them back. My first trainer, Stanley, he was actually on the road. He was working with me at CFI. He wanted to get some road time. I got him a job running with somebody up, and he was everywhere. Okay. He did his couple years or whatever, and he was in the process of transitioning right when I needed help. Okay. So I was like, come on in,
bro.
Yeah, he was like, I was like, what was that number you said you needed to come back training? Here you go. And he really grinded it out with me, and we was in there getting it done. Okay. And I knew that Stanley is one of those people, he's going to dive into everything. He's like, listen, I'm teaching them how to drive. Like, listen, no, we got to make sure they did right for the CDL test. But he was definitely a good dude, and he was there as far as, just really tapping in with everybody. Yeah. That's
amazing. This is a little bit back on a tangent again, but y'all doing community outreach, man. People need to put eyes on you, man.
Well, it's like so many different things be happening at once. What is it? Christian Jail Ministry. So we did a banquet with them, and there was a couple people that started reaching out to stuff. I actually do a scholarship program.
Listen to this guy. This guy's doing everything. Go ahead. The scholarship program.
Yeah, it started off as once a quarter. I have a student, or I have people, I put it out there, they write me a letter, explain to me why they want to join why they want to jump in the industry, and if depending on that story, what lines up, and make sure they have a decent driving record. Of course. I sponsor a person, and take them through the program and get them their license.
That's amazing, man. I definitely respect all of that. And that's why I'm saying you got to have a little bit of, and you know what? We here at the Squeeze will help you with that, because we got some community outreach planned. My lovely secretary, Sangria's for Sis, everybody. This is the hashtag we got for her, because she just asks for Sangria so that way she can have a nice little weekend after going to church for 4 times a week. But we got some upcoming things I'll plug you into. Okay. So let me get back to your real interview, man, because the people want to know all of that. So Do you find that the call to innovate or excel, so what are some of the principles that you've carried over from your own life into the business, and how have they shaped your overall business in general?
Do what you say you're going to do. That's kind of the biggest thing. At Advanced, we say we're going to provide one-on-one training, and we're going to pour into you what we know, and we're going to give you everything that we got, and because it's a passion. So this kind of do everything that you do with passion or a sense of urgency behind it. Like what you do or don't do it.
You got to be true to it, not new to it. You know. Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. So how is it that you keep yourself motivated every day going into this business and being an instructor and just dealing with all these people that you deal with on a regular basis?
It keeps me busy. It continuously gives me a chance to help somebody out. When CFI closed, there was just so many people that was kind of in a rough situation, and we was able to just slide in. And to be honest, we end up getting a lot of people done for less money that they would have paid normally. So their traumatic situation was an opportunity for us to step in and make a connection.
Okay, and let me ask you this. So typically at that time, and I'm not even asking you right now, what were the rates, I guess, to learn your CDL and all of that kind of stuff?
So they all over the place, and the one-on-one, because you have the big name schools that's 12 and 8 and whatever, but typically it's around anywhere from 25 to 5,000, 6,000.
So 2,500 to 5,000. And is there multiple courses, or you're saying it's just a one-on-one? Because I was hearing that.
Yeah, so we have a one-on-one program is centered around just you, the trainer, and the truck. Go through everything as far as your basic pre-trip skills. We take you on the road. We take you through the range skills. We really go in depth to what you need to know as far as how to check over your truck, how to be a safe driver. We explain experiences that we had to back up the reason of or the importance of doing your pre-trip, or the importance of checking over your equipment, not just from a safety aspect, but from a financial aspect. There's certain things you can do before you leave out that can save you thousands of dollars. So we take time to dive into that, and just really make sure that they prepare. A lot of times people are not prepared for the test. They know the information, but you haven't trained them through nervousness.
Okay.
So that's where we excel in training them to take the test, to be in that experience.
To be past that nervousness. So
yeah.
Let me ask you this. You were saying a pre-check and stuff like that. So what is a typical pre-check consist of?
So you would be inside your truck. You would check your seat belts, your gauges, your water temperature, oil pressure, your air pressure. You would do an air brake check because brakes is what stops you. Check your steering wheel, make sure all your inside lights and stuff like that work, your headlights and on your dash and stuff. That's the biggest thing that alerts DOT for the most part is you'll have a light out or something to be like that. So you want to get out, walk around your vehicle, make sure all your lights work, and then you want to dive into your engine, make sure you don't got no leaks. Nothing's stuck up under there. A lot of times animals, if it's cold, they'll go crawl up in your engine because it's warm. You want to check over your tires. You want to check over your brakes, like I said, on the outside, as well as the function on the inside. You want to check over them on the outside. Check your trailer. Check your load if you have one. Check your fuel. Check everything, man. It's a lot.
It sounds like a lot. So what's the list usually consist of? How many items?
So when they originally used to have a CDL test, there's 150 things that you had to check.
Okay.
And I didn't realize until I got on the road that all 150 of those things is necessary. And that's the biggest problem with, I guess some of the drivers coming out now, they don't know how to even check over their truck.
So, and how many, so on the road, just as a civilian, seeing other drivers out there, how often do you see what you would consider a driver who probably needed some more training?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day, all the time, every single day. There's so many things that people do, merging without signaling or riding too close to a vehicle, riding up on a vehicle, going too fast in bad weather conditions. You could just tell that, people not paying attention, they're not focused, they swerving in out of lanes, and it's dangerous.
So let me ask you this. What is it that really sets you guys apart in the industry from other CDL driving companies and even other companies in general?
We care. One of my students said, he's like, yeah, go mess with them. They really cared. And it was crazy because he a real dude. He's solid. And like the way he said it, you could tell that it was some thought and some feeling behind it. So it was like if we was able to impact him, and he was able to see that like, hey, it's not just about the money. Like it's really not. When my students pass, you hear me in the background, yeah, let's go. We be at the NBA live, like, and everybody knows us. So it just be like a big celebration. So it's just that experience of seeing somebody being able to fulfill a dream that they might have had. One of my first scholarship students, he was like, he dreamed of being a trucker ever since he was a kid. His grandfather was a trucker. He was in a bad situation. I think he was like homeless. He was just transitioning. And he's like, I don't got no money, da-da-da. And that's actually what kicked it off. I was like, I think I can do this, like on the side, like, because it's kind of only costing me my time in a sense, some fuel here and there. I got paid for a couple other things, but it's only costing me my time, so why not?
Right.
Why not? Like,
and you giving back, and then once he learned that skill, it's like the saying, you teach a man to fish, he'll learn to eat forever, or he'll fish forever.
Yeah, exactly.
So I both respect it and appreciate that you're doing all that, man. Because my thing is too, with the 3 schools, I mean, I'm just thinking about all the people I know that need something, that need to be, some help trying to get something. But I can't say they'll be motivated to do the CDL, thing. But I'm gonna send some people your way. That's all I'm saying.
And I always tell people, use truck driving as a stepping stone. Like, so some people, sell houses. Some people sell hair. My man's sister sell hair. They sell like $100,000 worth of hair every month. So you can use it to buy that first hair order. You can use it to buy that first piece of property. You can use it as a stepping stone and then get out the truck. Put some drivers in the truck. It's more than one different way to make money in the trucking industry. We're having a CDL essentially. People have paid me simply to go on a test with them. I've gotten paid hundreds of dollars to move a truck from one spot to another spot just because of the type of load it was. It's a hazardous material load. So, and nobody can touch it. So it just depends on how you use it. And me, I decided to use it for training.
And that's good, man. I mean, because you're giving back. And I don't think a lot of people think about that. But let me go back, because you were saying that, you guys, you do what you say, you give back. So what is it that would be your biggest irks with the other companies and other establishments?
That they was established way longer than me, and they have a sense of like what it takes to get the person to the next level, and they just won't do it. It doesn't match up to what they offer them in the front end. They might say that it is one-on-one, or they might say that you get all of the training that is necessary, but they leave you out there, they put you in a group, they leave you out there, they put you in a dangerous piece of equipment, and they don't tell you how to operate it, and they make you figure it out on your own. Whereas in 2 hours, because my classes are 2 hours long, in 2 hours we cover more ground that some students go to school for 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. I know because they're coming from these places, say, hey, I went here, I'm in school all day long and I don't know how to back up. What do you mean you don't know how to back up? And 15 minutes into the class, they're backing up. And it's as simple as that. And it's not just happened once, it's happened probably like 100 times by now. When they come from big name places, not even so much big name, little name. It's some places out there that's doing it right. I'm not gonna say I'm the best one to ever do it, okay, but it's a lot of people.
Toot your own horn, brother.
It's a lot of people taking advantage of the industry. I think with things like Chat GPT and stuff like that, a lot of people are realizing, they realizing that they got to do something more hands-on. So the market is, growing for it, and people are taking advantage of people left and right. Like, it just don't make no, because it's not hard if you invest time and you care about what you do. So it's like, this ain't work for all of us. Like, I don't think any of my trainers really say like it's work. Right. Like, all of them, they all had an option to kind of like be in this arena. They all could have, at one point in time where they was at, when it was before in a different situation, before they was working with me, they could have went out and made more money on the road. Mm-hmm. So training was actually a pay cut, but they enjoyed doing it. And that's kind of what it was for me. I left the road to take, like a $1,500 pay cut a week. So, but I knew that those connections that I would make, it would grow me.
I mean, and listen, to be honest with you, I think that's something that we miss today in general, because personal connection is lost to people. Mm-hmm. Everybody's in their phone. They won't even sit down at the table to eat dinner together. It's a very mass exodus exodus to, connecting with one another. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people feel like they get whatever they need out of you. They're going to stop talking to you. And I feel like, because for myself, I got most of my friendships are over 10, 15, 20 years.
Likewise.
So I don't relate where it's like, I can't just like, even if people, I might not talk to you for a few months. That's fine. But when I come back, we're going to be talking, we're going to catch up on all the little small, minute details. And even with that, like, just like you said, you connecting with people that I know it's not just face value. It's not just even about the trucking, because I'm pretty sure some of these people's families and stuff like that is well connected.
Yeah, we locked in. I just had a flood. And that's the thing. I have a lot of business owners that do business with me, so I try to make it a point to if you break bread with me, I break bread with you. So we recently had a flood around Christmas, and one of my students was a contractor. So he came through and got it together for us.
Oh, he posted and everything?
Yeah, like did the sucked all the water out, the mold cleaning and all of that stuff, and it was a professional job, and he was there when I needed him. And I think that was because, when he was trying to figure out how to back up, I was there when he needed me.
There we go. And you was talking about that too, man. So that backing up. So what are those hazards or the things that you would think that these other places aren't, or I guess what are they missing out on that they should be, some of the key things that you could highlight, I guess, that you would think that they should be working better on?
Teach them how to drive.
Oh, in general?
There's no way that you should be operating a heavy piece of machinery with only 15, 20 minutes on the road. In some places that they don't even allow their students to drive the truck on the road until the NVA test date.
How does that make sense? Because, like, listen, even with a driver's license, you got to do, 60 plus hours behind the thing?
I know places that don't let you drive the truck until you at your test site.
That's crazy. And now even though we getting towards, like, the back end of the episode, you were saying that your classes are 2 hours, but so what does a typical class look like and how frequent?
Well, it's designed on the student. So we're open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to as long as the light permits. So right now it's like 5 p.m. But during the summer we was like 7 to 9. One of my courses was lit, so we was at 7 to 11. Okay. But we schedule all around your availability. So if you only off on the weekends, we can take care of you on the weekends. If you are a special student and you can only get there at 6 a.m., guess what? I'm pulling up at 6 a.m. Okay. I had a vision that popped up, like a 24-hour thing, but like I don't know where I'm going at with it. But for the most part, we're super flexible with that. And there's 2-hour classes, different packages. I have unlimited packages. I have packages with a certain number of classes, but it's customized to what the student needs. And that's another big thing. By me realizing that God is working in my business, I try to design a package so that the student isn't paying more money than what they need. Some people have, they grew up on a farm, they've been driving trucks or combination vehicles all their life, so they know what they're doing. They don't need to come through something super extensive and they need to get taught how to, operate the truck, the basic curriculum or what the FMCSA requires, stuff like that. And then they need to be taken to get their license. Some people need to be in the truck fast. They need to be training for a while, just because their eyes got big when their friend told them, like, hey, I make this much money, and they stopped pushing carts at Target and they decided to jump in the truck, which is cool, but do you know what it really takes to be a truck driver? So and that's where we have programs or things set up that, hey, you pay this one price and you get all the training that's necessary to properly prepare you, versus you come in at a lower thing, and then now you got to add on another class. You got to pay for this. You got to pay for that. I really, after we do that initial agreement, that initial deal, I don't really like to take additional money from my students, because, and somewhere in there, I must have dropped the ball, and if I didn't, then we would have known about it throughout the process of like, hey, the reason that you behind is because you came late during this time, or you're not studying when you say that you're supposed to be studying, or you're not doing X, Y, and Z. But that'll be something that's addressed throughout the process. Right. But if a person is at the end and we feel like we've been doing they have to add on a whole bunch of classes, then somewhere along the line I didn't tap in with them and like, hey, we might need to change this up a little bit, or you might need to upgrade to this because I feel like it's going to take you a little bit more time. So I think that's something that my students respect about us too.
Oh, at least you're keeping it honest, man, because I would feel like most people would just try to get them out the door because they paid their money, and then it's just like, we done.
It's some places that got the attendance program. You miss 3 days or whatever, you late so many times, you out, and you didn't pay this place $12,000 and you out. Like they do not care.
And they don't refund?
No, not at all. Not even close. They probably if you was making payments, they still want the rest of their money.
Oh nah, see that's crazy. Because I'm like, I'm not even in there no more paying nothing.
They going what are you going? It's going on your credit score.
Oh, you know, they definitely gonna send it to that IRS for sure. So let me ask this though. Oh shoot, I just lost the thought. Bear with me. No, I'm gonna change it. So how do you cope though with the inevitable change that you feel like you have to deal with running the business? And that's like even with the expansion, delegating. Like, how do you deal with it?
I just stay hungry.
Okay.
I stay hungry. I stay excited. You know, I stay connected with my team so that they know what we're growing to, and I just wake up just ready for what's in store. Every day with trucking is always is ups and is downs. You know, you have times where things is booming, then you have times where your truck won't start because the diesel fuel then froze up because it's so cold outside.
Diesel fuel freezes up?
Yeah, I had my first truck that I purchased, that Volvo, and the diesel and it gelled up. It was that right when we had the snowstorm like 2-3 weeks ago, and it gelled up. For any drive out there, get that diesel Dr. 911, pour it in your tank.
Okay, there we go.
And it'll de-gel diesel so that you can start the truck. But yeah, that's it's got its ups and downs.
I mean, don't everything though. So let me ask you this. Let me reflect on think back on your relationship with your clients, your employees, your partners, anybody that played a crucial role on being a business, and how have they influenced you on your path in owning a training business for the CDL licensing?
Like I said, I had a strong foundation. It's been between pastors, elders, my brother's been there, my brother's wife, my kid's mom, my girlfriend, like everybody has been there. But my homeboy John, it was weird, like kind of how we met. He was a student, he was doing his own thing, and then like he kind of came on, but like it's like two people that would never be kind of found in the same circle, but we just clicked. His things lined up with my things, and on almost every long distance trip I had to go get a truck, he was there. So I'd be like, hey, a truck is in Texas. You down to go? Like, oh, how much you gonna charge me? He's like, man, just feed me. And what did he say? Like, just feed me and pay for the hotel or something like that. And he was down every single time and never failed. So I think, just being able to get that friendship, because a lot of us as adults, we don't have friends, or we don't develop new friends. So to develop a friend as an adult was, it was really cool.
I was about to say, you just said something just amazing too, because I think that people are like friendship adverse as adults, because it's like it's almost like a relationship. You done been scorned, you done been through some shit, and you're just like, well, you a stranger, why I need to meet you, you know what I mean?
People don't do what they say.
Exactly that, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, I think we also got hit in the head when our parents told us don't talk to strangers. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that was like, I was honestly a backwards thought. Mm-hmm. Not to say it was wrong, it was the wrong type of stranger. Mm-hmm. I mean, we should have been more specific, because if, I always just challenge my own mom about it. It's just like, if I don't talk to strangers, I'm gonna make friends. Like, you want me to go make friends, but I can't talk to them because.
And I think that's where, like, once again, it goes back to the foundation. Your discernment kicks in, and your Holy Spirit is gonna let you know who you want to be around and who's like-minded. And is this everything was like on the same page, the same temperament. I'm not about to go out here and do no wild stuff. We ain't drinking and driving. We ain't gonna do nothing crazy. We just want to get some trucks. We want to do what we say. We want to train some people. We want to take care of our families, and occasionally go to a Ravens game. Like it's a kind of a simpler life,
See our boy Lamar not hecking damn fool, but I'm a Ravens fan too, bro. Like, listen, I'm very sick about this joint. We let Mahomes. Now, to be honest with you, this is a bit tangent, and we not no sports officials or nothing like that, but that was a rigged ass fucking game. I'm gonna keep it, but they was calling shit ridiculous after the second quarter.
So fun fact, I don't know what happened this year. Like, every time I watch the game, like an important game, they always lose. So when I don't watch it, they win. So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna watch it. And then that night, my church had a revival night or something like that. So we couldn't watch it anyway. They was ordaining our pastors, and we couldn't watch it. And my pastor's a huge Raven fan. Like, he had like tickets and everything, and he had to cancel. So they was like, nobody don't talk about the score, don't say anything, and I'm going to go home and watch it. And towards the end, I'm leaving out, and my brother Trey is like, he just shook his head. I'm like, oh man, I should have watched the game.
You should have seen it go down. Nah, it was a horrible game. Like, you saw the whole joint afterwards?
Nah. I was done.
Yeah, we don't even gotta talk about it. Let me just let's stay on you. Right?
Yeah.
So, what is it now that really fuels you to stay motivated and instructing and going out and connecting with the new people?
All right, so the biggest motivation is now I realize that people's lives is in my hands. When you expand your business, you then hire employees. Those employees depend on you to live. They depend on you to eat. They depend on you to take care of their families, to pay for their cars, to just operate in the whole. They depend on you for guidance, because as an owner of a company, you're not just that. You're a leader, so you have to inspire them. You have to pour into them. You have to check on them when they're down. You have to understand that they are people. Working 40, 50 hours a week is hard on the body. It's hard. And you have to remember that at one point, because I believe that is a good thing to touch kind of everything that you do in your business, like have been through it. I know some people believe like, I don't have to flip the fries to know what it's like to flip the fries. But I feel like you should have at least touched on it. So every single part of what my trainers go through, I've been at that. I've been working on a lot all day. I've been dealing with students that don't listen. So you got to be able to know when they're struggling with something and then step in and be like, all right, hey, here's how we might want to handle that situation. Or did you lead them to what you wanted them to do? And maybe this is how you correct it. Maybe you might need to go over it. It's 4 different learning styles. So maybe this one doesn't work for them. They might not read well, whatever it is. But just having the patience to go through all of those different scenarios is what separates us from everybody else.
There we go. That's it, man. Okay. This is back on the other joint. See, we be touching stuff. So were there any challenges or barriers that you faced in establishing the business? Like as far as permits, even if any racist things happen, maybe, who knows?
Yeah, it wasn't nothing so much like permits. Everything was lined up. I had the right type of criteria to get started. It's just when I opened up, I left CFI and I was like maybe 12 minutes from them. And, as I'm growing my business, you get worried about people sabotaging what's going on. Because I just wanted to train and train people the way that, I felt like they should have been trained. It wasn't so much a leaving because, I wanted to cause you harm or do anything toward you. And long story short, we ended up redeveloping our relationship as they left and working some stuff out. But, it wasn't, I don't know, it was just worried about somebody, damaging my stuff, or upset that I decided to do my own thing, because at one point in time I carried somebody else's thing. I carried your dream. I provided and, ran things to take care of your family, but I didn't see no longevity in it. I didn't see nothing that could take care of my family. Right. So now is the mindset is like, how do I develop this company to be able to take care of my family? And honestly, the people that started with me is very important. It's like I say, it's year one. We got plans on going to more locations. So these select group of people that surround me, I really want to eat with them. But I know I can't eat with everybody, but I would like to.
Right. I'm about to say that's crazy though, because what you're saying is you don't want no ill intent, thrust the point, because jealousy is a mother effer. But on top of that, I think that it was good that you went through that initial adversity, because if you didn't have nothing to struggle through, it probably would have felt like, you didn't know if you were doing well or not too, So I think that you were blessed to have that small bit of adversity, because listen, that was somebody you was already close to. If anybody else come, you like, look, I don't even know who you are. And you obviously not comparing to me, I'm not to toot your own horn, but the proof is in the word. I'm saying, obviously, just with this one conversation, I could see that, obviously your namesake and just the way that you present and carry yourself in general goes to show that you are a man of God that is very much a man of his word and goes through whatever struggle, because I haven't seen it firsthand, but I can believe without a reasonable doubt that you go through the struggle with any and everybody that is learning with you, because and I think that and this is me throwing another accolade your way, but an amazing thing for a teacher is to be able to break something down simple to people who don't know something. And so it could be the most complicated thing, but if you can break it down to like probably like a simple sentence like that a fifth grader could understand, I think that's amazing. And I just, you know, talking to you, I'm getting to understand, you know, driving a little bit more. So I know that you take that real time to be personable. You know what I'm saying? So, and I respect that, bro. Appreciate it. No problem, no problem. Can you describe a moment coming back to your roots and reconnecting with your origins that helped you to build the CDL instructing company? Excuse me. And how does your background influence your journey?
Well, I've always been kind of good at whatever I kind of like touch. Like, you know, I think that's never really been a struggle with me. Whatever I sell shoes, and I've did crazy numbers last year on StockX.
Oh man!
Just off like a side, like a hobby. Like I was like, well, you know what? As a child, I didn't get to get all of the shoes that I kind of wanted. I was like, now I'm buying them. But then I started realizing, I was like, I'm spending a lot of money on shoes. I was like, hold on, let me buy some shoes to sell, to pay for these shoes. And then that's kind of how that little side thing started. But I went off on a little tangent too. Remind me to
It's okay. So it was, I'm losing my spot too. We all over the place. Describe a moment that you connected back with your roots, or, you know, your origins, why that helped you to build or keep the business growing.
I actually get excited when I do jump on the road. Like I've ran out, you know, get a couple trucks and stuff, and I was talking to my buddy. It was like, no, I think we want to run loads and stuff like that. So coming back into it is still exciting. It's still, you know, it's still a joy. It's crazy, but I like what I do.
I mean, yeah. And listen, I mean, I don't think a lot of people can really understand that, because a lot of you guys watching are doing things you don't want to do. You know what I mean? You're not happy about it. You're feeling like you're doing it so you can pay them bills and get whatever little things that you want popping for you. And I'm not mad at you, but to truly love what you do, it is a different type of feeling. And people say it don't feel like work. You do feel like you're still working, but it does. You don't come home feeling the same type of fatigue. I'll give you that. And I think that you explained it well. And I'm gonna jump around and let me say, are there any like symbols or metaphors though that you hold special, that, you know, was a part of the journey for? And I'm not trying to butcher the name. Advanced Driving Academy.
Advanced CDL Driving.
Advanced CDL Driving Academy.
Tell me about your experience, man. How you feel?
Oh man, my man Kev, hey, top notch. All the trainers like that. Come on down and get you some.
Hey, that's what's up.
They're gonna get you right. Trust me. Just trust the process. You know, everybody got to go through it. You know what I'm saying? But it's the man right here. I call him Coach Phil.
Appreciate you, boss.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Advanced CDL Driving Academy, man. They the best out, the best ever. I appreciate my guys, Kev, Stanley, Drake. I recommend this for anybody. I'm young, I'm 21. All my young guys out here, get out here getting these trucks, man. A lot of money, a lot of motion out here. Appreciate, you know, Advanced. They my guys. You big. There we go.
Still got milk in this head.
Hey, I came here not knowing how to drive a stick at first. Didn't have an idea how to drive a tractor. Seriously. All right? Not good at inspection or anything. These guys got me through it in 3 weeks fast. I got it down packed without a problem. These guys are good at what they do. Their instructions are solid. And everybody coming through, I ain't seen nobody fail yet. So, there we are. I recommend it to all y'all. Get it done.
All right, man. Heard it here.
Hi, my name is Matt. I work for Great Line Construction. They put me through the school to get my Class A CDL. I really enjoyed this school because they worked very hard to accommodate with me and my schedule. I'm able to work my full-time job and then come here and do classes. It was a really great time. All the instructors were awesome. They were really good teachers. They were easy to work with, and they were extremely helpful. Getting my Class A I'd say it was relatively easy and straightforward. And I would definitely recommend them to anybody else, and I will be recommending them to the other people.
I just want to say that Advanced CDL Driving Academy is top notch. Their staff is professional, they're knowledgeable, and they work with you. I passed on the first try. Everybody say you can't pass on the first try. Nobody passed on the first try, but guess what? I passed on the first try, and I wouldn't have been able to do it with no other school this.
Right.
Them fellas are top notch. Thank y'all.